Right, welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone is doing well. This video is a video that I said I was going to do the very first time I used Pressfit. It's going to be a comparison video from soldering to Pressfit. So I've set a little bit of a rig up. So I'm going to do a bit of a setup here of 15mm solder, time myself doing it and work out the cost of what that is. Then I'm going to do it in 15mm Pressfit, time myself doing it, and again tell you exactly how much the cost of that one is. The same with the 22mm solder and Pressfit, time it and work out the cost in it, because so many people ask me, is it more expensive? It clearly is more expensive, but does it save time? So this video is going to be as real world as I can get it, using a board of the comparison from Pressfit to solder. So I'm going to go through the price and the fittings, from end feed costs to Pressfit costs to the cheap online Pressfit fittings you can get to the branded fittings you can get. Everything I'm going to try and cover in this video, just to give people a bit of a real world plumbing insight into Pressfit versus solder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up two rigs. I'm going to do 15mm this side, so I'm going to put I'm going to come in elbow, T off here, elbow at the top, T. I'm going to do a various sort of little combination, but I'm going to do the same for each one, 22mm, 15mm, solder and Pressfit. So let's get that in place first. Once that's all in and set up, I can then go through exactly the process I'm going to sort of show you with how much the fittings cost compared to the time it's going to take. So I'm going to get my phone, hit the stopwatch, solder this one up, then we're going to take that one out, run through the cost of it, then we're going to put it in Pressfit, again hit the button, and then time exactly how long it's going to take to press all them fittings, and then again take that out, work out the costs, and the same with the 22. But every fitting isn't the same. For instance, you know, that one is a branded fitting. I think that one's a Pegler fitting. This one is just an M press fitting that you can get online, and the difference between them two is probably, let me have a quick look. So I've got all my stuff written down here. So online, that 22mm elbow is £2.10 compared to the branded one. I think it's a Pegler one. That one is £3.50. But to put it into perspective, that end feed elbow is 99p. So there is a massive cost difference between the three, but the cheap online ones a lot of the time can be Chinese, you know, really cheaply made Chinese ones. At least with the branded ones, Pegler, Gebrit, you know that they've gone through proper testing, if you like, whereas the cheaper ones, you know, at the end of the day, you're crimping a fitting together, you're relying on just that O-ring inside. So if that saving that little bit, you can, you know, warrant doing it. If ever there's an issue with it and it causes hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of damage to a property, at least you know with a branded one, for instance, you're going to get a little bit more comeback than I'd say with a cheap Chinese one. Just my view, I don't know. Drop in the comment below and just let me know what you think. But let's get this rig set up now. We'll do the 15mm one first, and we'll do it in solder first. So I need to get some pipe in, cut in, and you'll see exactly how we're going to lay it out. So obviously, because we're soldering this side up, you've got to flux up each fitting. As we know, that can take quite a while. So there's one of the points. I'm not really going to add it into the time that I'm going to put to soldering it up compared to pressing it, but it's preparation, isn't it? You've got to flux each fitting up and get it ready for when you solder it up, which all goes into, I suppose, the prep time of the fittings. As I say, I'm not going to count that really, because it's not really a fair well, let me know in the comments below whether you think I should have counted it up, because it's probably going to be maybe 3 or 4 minutes of fluxing these fittings up compared to with press. Obviously you just push the fittings together. Yes, you've got to mark them, but yeah, see what you think. Just let me know what you think. And people always sort of pick up on the fact that I don't use a flux brush. I just use the end of my solder. It's neither in or there, to be honest. I've always done it that way. So there we go. We've got 5 elbows and 4 T's on that rig. So what I'm going to do now is solder that rig up. So what I'll do at the end of the video is tally up the time and the cost of soldering up that rig compared to soldering up the Pressfit rig. So let's get the blow out. Hopefully the weather stays all right. It's not too windy. I know people are going to say it's windy, it's outdoors, it's not a fair comparison. It's not that scientific, to be fair. It's just an overview of how it is. So let's get the soldering stuff ready, the blow lamp, the flux, the solder, and get this one soldered up with the timer going. We can see exactly how long it's going to take. What do you reckon? I reckon, without doing it, I reckon probably 5 minutes, because you've got quite a few joints. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. You've got 22 joints. So I'm going to say about 5 minutes to solder that up. Right, let's get ready and get it done. Right, we're set up now. I've got the blow lamp, I've got the soldering stuff ready, got the stopwatch ready here. So what I'm going to do is just pop the camera just here. Let me see if it's set right so we can get it. Yeah. So what we'll do is, as soon as we're finished, I'm going to turn... So what we'll do is get this soldered up. As I've said before, I'm not one of these people that dabs the solder in so that it looks like it's hardly got any solder on it. I put a nice little ring round it. So I've put it on hardy backer board just because it's not going to be too bad. If we scorch it a little bit, it is what it is. You know, I'm not that precious about getting it so there's no marks on it and this, that and the other. It is a bit of a factor when you come to soldering, and it would take a little bit more time compared to Pressfit, where you can just hit the button and you know it's not going to burn anything. But for the sake of this, I'm not overly worried. So let's get soldering. So let's hit the start button and get soldering. Obviously, I'm going to try and do it as neat as I can, but I'm not, as I just said, I'm not overly precious about it being massively neat for the sake of this test. So that's one done. Again, we've got the clips on there just to hold it in place. I'm not overly concerned if I just happen to mount a clip or scorch a clip, but you are going to have to take a little bit more time. I'm not rushing it, but I'm not being overly cautious. Sometimes you'll heat the fitting and it'll carry the heat to the other side. I'm not going to test it if it's watertight either, because you know, if you've been doing it long enough, you know when a fitting's as good as run. Yeah, just talk amongst yourselves. It's just a test that a lot of people have asked about, and a lot of people wanted to see what the comparisons are. But yeah, 22 joints on this 15mm. Well, it's going to be 22 joints on all of them, obviously. Split record. And because I'm doing it outside, I'm quite wary that we could get some rain, which would properly scupper what I'm trying to achieve. And I've had a window of about 3 hours to get this done. You'd be surprised how time consuming getting the stuff ready. So I think we're about halfway through the fittings now. So many people will be going, I can't believe you solder like that, why did you do it like this? We all solder slightly different ways, we all solder with slightly different amounts of heat. As long as it doesn't leak, then we are all pretty much good to go. As I said, I'm doing it outside, so you've got to just allow a little bit for the conditions. I tucked it right into the corner so we haven't got too much wind. Right, 2 more fittings to go. Obviously as well, with Pressfit compared to Solder you've got to get a hot works permit if you're working in certain places, and I think that was one of the reasons why Pressfit was used a lot commercially, for the hot works sort of side of it. You don't have to get that. So in turn, obviously if you use just Pressfit, which I don't think anyone would just use Pressfit, I dare say your insurance might be a little bit cheaper. Your liability insurance. Right, last fitting. Let's get this elbow soldered up. Got all of them. Yeah, right, stop. Right then, let's cool these fittings down, and then I'll show you exactly the time we got for soldering 22 end feed fittings. As I say, we're not counting the flux in time, if you like, but it is, I suppose it is something to bear in mind. So the time for soldering up 5 elbows and 4 T's in this little rig was, you can see it, 4 minutes and 9 seconds. So I'll jot that down, then we can take this out the rig, get it set up for Pressfit. So we're just setting up the Pressfit rig now, and obviously because we haven't got to flux anything up, we can just push the fitting straight in like so, and it's done. So even though I'm not counting the flux inside of stuff, it does make a bit of a difference, to be honest. So you're going to probably save 5 minutes instantly from your fluxing up of the fittings, unless you'd sort, well, even when you're doing it going along. So for instance, I've just cut that, pop that in, and it's done. That's exactly how it needs to be. So again, there's pros and cons to every sort of way of soldering up, but as I said, I'm not counting that within the sort of very rudimental test that I'm doing. So there you go. So we just put 2 little bends on the bottom, and we're ready to hit the button and try Pressfit side. So we'll pop that in there. And again, this one in here, then we can get the jaws on it and time it being pressed together. Right, there we go. That's the same rig as we've just soldered up, but this time in Pressfit. So I shall mount the camera, if I can get it, in exactly the same place as we did. Let's swap the jaws over for the 15mm ones. Get the stopwatch ready. So a few of you will have seen I've not marked this up, just because I've pushed it all together and we're not going to be using it for anything anyway, so it's just for test purposes. Right, let's hit the button and start, shall we? 3, 2, 1, go. So jaws on that. Going to go along so I know which ones I've done and which ones I haven't. Work across it. think the big saving time-wise is going to come on the 22mm one, because it's going to take the same amount of time. Last two fittings. I can see the time we've got there. Last one. Done. Let's hit stop. Right then, so interestingly enough, we're not as quick as what I thought we was going to be, and as I've just said, I think the time saving is going to be on the 22mm, but for the 5 elbows and the 4 T's on the 15mm, we have got 2 minutes and 52 seconds. So I'll jot that down, we'll get this rig out, and then we'll move on to the 22mm one. Right, there we go. That's the 2 15mm, one soldered, one press fit. That rig's done, and we're moving on now to the 22mm. So, as we did before, we've got to get the 22mm pipe work all in with the elbows set. So, let me get that done, then we can compare the 22mm soldering to the 22mm press fit. I think there's going to be a massive difference on this one, just because it takes that little bit longer to solder 22mm, but in essence, you're just pressing the button again. I think it's going to be quite a similar time to the 15mm press on here, but I think the soldering is going to be a lot longer. So let's get it done, let's get this rig set up and see what's what. So we've got the 22mm rig set up now. It's taking a little bit longer to flux this one up, obviously because it's 22mm. Not a lot, only probably a minute or so, but I just want to put that into the sort of the context of what we're doing. So this is going to be, so I think this is going to take a fair chunk longer to solder up this one compared to the 15mm, obviously because it's bigger. But we've got the stopwatch ready. Let's hit the button and see how long it takes to solder up the 22mm test rig. Let's hit the button and start. Just go. I'm going to start over here. I'm assuming you can. Right, we're going to start over here. I'm going to turn the flame up a little bit, not too much. Just bear with me on this one. As soon as it starts to flow, you're all right. And I always find it easier to solder up bigger fittings. 10mm fittings, I remember back in the day we used to do 8mm fittings. They were an absolute nightmare. I just look down at the clock, and just to do that first fitting is quite an interesting time. You'll probably be able to gauge it by the amount of time you're watching anyway, unless you're skipping through it. But it's definitely taking a good bit longer to get the heat into a 22mm fitting, obviously, than it is a 15mm fitting. But I want to make sure it runs round the complete fitting. Even though we're not going to be filling it up, I still want to know that it's all the way in. And like I said, you know when a fitting's run, I think, when you've been doing it for a good while. It's interesting as well that this hardy backer board, the cement board, doesn't burn. Massive difference it's going to be for the 22mm. I think I can tell already just by glimpsing down at the stopwatch. I'm not even halfway through yet. I totally get people who bang on about soldering and bang on about Pressfit. I was talking to someone last night on Instagram about it, and I said there's no art to press fitting. Anyone can press a button. I think my 4-year-old grandson could press the fittings. There's definitely an art to soldering. As I say, with these ones I'm just getting the solder in. I'm not being too precious about the tiniest little bit of solder. It's done. I think the key is getting the heat into the fitting. That's what takes in the longest. Right, we're down to the last 2 fittings. I think you can pick them up on the camera. I can't really adjust the camera at the minute. Otherwise it wouldn't be a fair test, would it? Right, last elbow. Even dropping the solder down a bumper of the van. This is never good. Right, done. Hit the stop button. Right. There we go. Let me just cool these down ever so slightly. Not that it makes a difference, we're not going to be putting water through it, as I said, but just so I don't burn my arm. And then I can let you know the time, or shall I wait? I might wait with this one, I might tease you a little bit. So I'm going to wait to give you the time for the 22mm one. Let's get this out, let's get the Pressfit rig set in, all cut to length, fittings on, and then we can hit the button on the Pressfit and we can compare the two. So this time that I've got here, and the Pressfit. Right, we've got the Pressfit 22mm rig set up now. It's all done, all in position. All we've got to do now is get the gun, get the stopwatch, and time exactly how long it's going to take us. Let me just set that. That's better. So we've just got to time how long it's going to take us now to press these 5 elbows, 4 T's in 22mm press. So let's hit the button and get going. Right, I'll count myself in. 3, 2, 1, go. absolutely flying through this 22mm, to be honest. Three more fittings to go. I suppose it also comes down to visually what it looks like. Does it look a lot better? Would you prefer how it looks in press than it does in solder? It's a lot tidier, I think, neater on the joints, but I don't think aesthetically these fittings look that good. Last fitting. There we go, let's hit the stop button. Right then, quite interesting. So we've got the time now for the 22mm press fit with exactly the same as the soldered, and there is a fair bit of a difference in there, but you've also got to remember the price difference as well. So let me show you what the difference is. So time wise, let me show you what the difference from the soldered 22mm is. Let me get my little score sheet out. So the soldered 22mm rig took 5 minutes and 4 seconds. That was for the soldered 22mm rig. Now for the press fit 22mm, same rig, same setup, same amount of fittings, same number of joints, it was 3 minutes and 16. So near on 2 minutes quicker to press the 22mm than it was with the 22mm solder. And for the 15mm solder is 4 minutes and 9 seconds, and the 15mm press was 2 minutes 52 seconds. So a minute 20 quicker to do the 15mm press compared to 2 minutes quicker, give or take, 2 minutes quicker for the 22mm. So, but let's get all this cleared up now, and then we'll work on the costing. What the price is of this, the 22mm soldered one, and both 15mm setups. That is where the comparison is. What everyone's sort of obsessed with is the pricing of it. So let's get all this tidied up and let's go over the pricing of Pressfit versus solder. Right then, done, dusted, sorted. We've got the rigs here set up now, but I just want to go through an idea of the pricing of fittings and what, because it seems to be a massive thing. I did an Instagram poll, or asked a question last night just before doing this video, and I asked people what their main concern with Pressfit is. Is it pricing? Is it what brand you use? Or is it ease of getting the fittings? And the majority of people came back and said it's down to price. But a lot of them said they don't go really cheap. They go as cheap a named brand as they can find, i.e. Gibrit or Pegler or Konex, which is quite interesting because I've written down a comparison. So bear with me for a minute. We'll get to the times and how much each rig cost in its complete format, because I've worked out what the 50mm soldered one cost, 50mm press fit one cost, and the same with the 22. But we'll get to that at the end. But I'm just going to look at my paperwork because I've spent loads of time getting this, so I might as well use it. So all these prices are including VAT. I personally work including VAT. I'm not VAT registered. So for a 15mm end feed elbow, I can get over the counter at my local plumb base for 33p. Compare that to a Gibrit press fit elbow from plumb base will be £1.77. So there's a massive difference in a 15mm elbow. Online, you can get the cheap, if you shop around, I had a quick look last night, if you had a shop around, you can get a really cheap M press fitting for £1.08 online, or you can get a named brand Pegler or Jebrit or whatnot online for sort of £2, 6p. And then also, to put it into some sort of perspective, a polypipe plastic 15mm elbow is £2.20. So yes, M-Feed's going to be cheaper, but the cheapest press fit online is £1.08 with the VAT. But you don't know, is that a cheap Chinese rip-off copy version, or is it a half decent one, RAS approved, compared to a Jebrit 15mm fitting, which is £1.77. You know full well that if something goes wrong with a Jebrit or a Pegler fitting, you're going to have some clout when it comes to going through your insurance and all that sort of stuff. Whereas I think if you have a really, really cheap fitting, are they going to stand by an issue if ever it arises? I don't know. So let's have a look at a 22mm end-feed elbow. So let's have a look at a 22mm fitting. 22mm end-feed copper elbow, same as what we've used on the test rig, with that, from my local Plumbase, 99p. A Jebrit press fit elbow from Plumbase, 22mm, £2.96. Online, I can get that, the cheap one, for £2.10, and online I can get a Pegler or a Pegler or a Jebrit one online, £3.48. So it's quite dear online to get that. Again, in comparison with a polypipe plastic 22mm elbow, £3.38. So there's a lot of numbers going round. Clearly end-feed stuff is going to be cheaper, but what about the time saved? So let's get on to exactly what each rig has cost me. So the 15mm end-feed rig cost in fittings £4.17 and took 4 minutes and 9 seconds to solder up. The Pressfit 15mm rig in fittings cost £20.97. Now these are fittings, I'm working this on end feed from Plumbase and Jebrit fittings from Plumbase over the counter. You will get this press fit price cheaper if you're using the cheaper ones online, granted. But for the sake of it, I'm using the Jebrit press fit 22mm fittings from Plumbase. It's just loads of numbers in it, this video, but it's interesting. So as I said, £20.97 for the press fit one, but it took us 2 minutes 52. So a saving of a minute and a half, but it's cost us 15 quid more in press fit in 15mm. So you saved a minute and a half, cost you extra 15 quid, which is, you know, it's a lot of money. If you can warrant it, then great. I dare say if you're doing a massive long run, it might work better, but it's quite an eye-opening comparison. So £4.17 for end feed, 4 minutes 9 seconds, £20.97 for press fit, and 2 minutes 52. So let's look at the 22mm rig now. So end feed 22mm rig. So this cost me in fittings £11.79, but took us 5 minutes and 4 seconds to solder up. Now comparing that to the Jebrit press fit 22mm rig, that cost us, interestingly enough, £39.25. So near on 40 quid in fittings to do that, and it took us 3 minutes 16 seconds. So basically 2 minutes quicker, but 30 quid more expensive in 22mm. That's a massive difference, I personally think, for saving 2 minutes, and it's cost you 30 quid. But this is exactly why I wanted to show you this. If we look online at the online prices for the cheap 22mm fittings, we can do this rig for 25 quid, 24.42 to do the press fit 22mm with the online cheaper fittings, and the branded fittings online about the same, 40 quid. So can you warrant 25, 30 quid dearer to save 2 minutes of doing that rig, plus the outlay of a press fit gun, which is, this one was 1500 quid, compared to the soldering and stuff that we've all got. I'd say 100% of us have got the soldering stuff already in the van. Taking from this video, where would you be at? You know, it's a massive price difference for Pressfit, but it looks a lot neater. That looks quite neat, to be honest, compared to that. But I dare say if you clean that up, wirewalled it, shined it up, it would look good. So there you go. It's a bit of a comprehensive look over Pressfit compared to Enfeed in a completely unbiased way. For someone that I've tried Pressfit out, I'm not overly taken with it yet, but I just wanted to do this comparison video, and it's certainly eye-opening. It's costing you, this one, you know, 30 quid more in fittings to save 2 minutes of connecting it up. Take from that what you will. But yeah, just to wrap this video up then, basically Pressfit is a lot dearer than Enfeed, which everyone knew. The time saved is not massive over something like this, whereas I think if you're doing a big boiler cupboard or plant room, it would be a massive saving time-wise, but you're obviously going to pay for it. So yeah, there's a bit of an overview of soldering compared to Pressfit. Drop a comment below, let me know what you think. I'm just a little bit, I thought the comparison would be a lot more. I thought it would be a lot quicker, where it's only over these rigs, it's not massively quicker, but it's massively more expensive. And until I did this, I didn't realise there was that much of a huge price gap in it. So drop me a comment below, let me know what you think, let me know if you like this video, because it's cost me an absolute fortune in fittings to put it together. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, really appreciate it. Hope you like this video, and I'll catch you soon. Right, I've had to jump on here and just address a few little things before the end of this video, because while I was filming that bit that you've just seen, the comparison test and the costing and the timing of it, I was obviously putting a little bit of footage out on Instagram, and I think I've done some YouTube short videos. Now, so many people have messaged me, and even companies have messaged me saying, we can do fittings really cheap, we can do Enfeed fittings cheaper than you can get over the counter, we can do Pressfit fittings cheaper than anywhere you can see on the internet. It wasn't about getting the cheapest fitting, hunting around the internet to find the cheapest fitting. I gave an overview of a cheap fitting I could find on the internet, a fitting I could get from Plumbase, a branded named fitting that I could get off the internet. So it wasn't a massively scientific experiment. It was just a way of showing you the costing to the time that everyone seems, you know, sort of like hung up on. Is it quicker? Whenever I do any press in any video, people go, is it quicker? Is it more expensive? How expensive is it? So I just wanted to get that across. Yes, you can shop around and you can probably get fittings dirt cheap, but also not everyone has time to do that. A lot of people go into the merchants. That's why I set the costing of that rig on fittings that I got over the counter in Plumbase. I can go online and get them cheaper, but I just wanted to make that a fair test between all 4 rigs, if you know what I mean. Plus, people were saying with Pressfit, once you've pressed it, it's in, you haven't got to clean it up, you haven't got to do anything to it. Have you took into account the time it takes to then polish your solder work up afterwards, which could take, on them rigs, let's say for instance it takes another 5 minutes to polish that 22mm pipework up to be as clean as the Pressfit. Again, people were saying, have you took the time into consideration of fluxing the fittings up? No, I didn't. I said that in the video that I didn't take that time into account. Would have probably been 5 minutes of the 22mm rig. So if you put that together, the 22mm rig would be 5 minutes fluxing everything up, 5 minutes soldering up, 5 minutes cleaning up, 15 minutes. But in reality, sometimes you'll put fittings in and you'll wipe them down. There's a lot of pros and cons between soldering and Pressfit. Obviously, Pressfit is perfect for hot works. If you've got a place where you don't want to set alarms off, that's a massive plus. A lot of companies now, commercial work only allows press. So there's so many variants in it, but I just wanted to give a bit of an overview over it and a real world sort of comparison. But when I put out on Instagram that I was doing it,
my inbox went absolutely mental with a lot of people pro solder, a lot of people pro Pressfit, and I get it, you know, I understand it. So don't sort of, I'm still on the fence. I'm going to still use Pressfit. I did a job this morning, did an underfloor heating manifold that, I don't know if that video will have gone out yet, but I done that job this morning. Just went to the van, got the Pressfit stuff out, pressed it, because it was quicker and it was easier. So, you know, I'm not saying it's not for me. I'm still going to use it. I still think it's good. I'm getting to grips with it. I will also still solder stuff. But I just wanted to address that because I just had so many comments come in from Instagram and various companies. A good few amount of companies coming to me saying, Mark, we can supply you for this much. We can supply you for... It wasn't a video about that. I wanted to get the costing and the speed across. So again, thanks for watching the video. I really do appreciate it. It went to quite a lot of effort to make that video, and it's cost me a fortune in fittings, as you'll be aware. But I went to quite a little bit of effort to do that video because I've said I was going to do it from the start. And drop me a comment below. Please let me know if you found that beneficial. Either way, some of you is going to go, oh, Pressfit's definitely not for me. Others are going to go, right, okay, we see that. We see how easy it was. That's going to be for us. So drop me a comment below. Get subscribed to the channel, all that sort of stuff. But I just wanted to make it crystal clear that, you know, I'm still on the fence. I'm still sat there on the fence. But yeah, hopefully that's just a little bit more out there now so people can gauge exactly where they're at with the solder and the Pressfit stuff. So hope you like the video. I'll leave you to it now, and I'll catch you on the next one.